My name is Mackenzie, and this is my YouTube channel, Autistic Musings, where we talk about all things autistic. Now, welcome if you're a new viewer and you're here for your loved one, your friend, or you're autistic yourself. And if you're a returning viewer, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. So, self-diagnosis, hot button issue. Self-diagnosis is kind of common in the autistic community for quite a few reasons, and some people are against it, some people are okay with it, everywhere in between. I'm going to share my own experience with getting diagnosed. Very brief. If I go too deeply into it, we'll be here all freaking day. So I was having a lot of issues, and like emotionally and relationship-wise, and I was super confused on why I was having these issues. And I was having a lot of problems. It began with COVID. I had a little bit of a reaction to lockdown. Anyway, so I was like, what's going on with me? And I start researching because I really like psychology. Like I can do it all day long. And I go through things that are like my behavior and stuff, but none of them seem to fit because I go over the reasons why people do these things and the behind behavior. And I'm like, no, that's not why I do that. And eventually I come across autism. I'm going to be brief here. Also, my sister told me, do you think you might be autistic? She was a good pusher for that. And I go into in-depth research about this. And when I say in-depth, I pulled out the DSM and I looked over every point of their checklist for diagnostic criteria. I check every box. And I went through that and I made sure I knew exactly what they meant by it. And I check every box. And I listened to a lot of different autistic people because when you go over academic, I read the academic stuff, it's really super negative. And you just find a more objective and less stigmatized version when you talk to autistic people and listen to them. And I very much empathized and related with many of their experiences. And again, checked off all the boxes, did a lot of research, and decided I'm going to try to get a diagnosis for this, and I'm going to look into it. First, I tried to go through my insurance, and that took quite a while to figure out, and I had to be very specific because many females on the spectrum, we don't get diagnosed until way later on compared to our male counterparts. So I'm part of the statistic now. Anyway, I had to go through my insurance, but there was no one in network, so they had to search out of network, and there was no guarantee that they would pay for that out of network person. They just find it for me. And I wasn't happy with who they found. So I decided to do my own research and email a whole shit ton of doctors. And I did like a mass email. I'm looking for this, this, and this. I would like to know if anybody has experienced diagnosing adults on the spectrum that are female, specifically that. And I emailed all these doctors and somebody got back to me. And I will list them below after I get their permission. I haven't asked them yet, so I'll put it below later. Anyway, and eventually I found a provider that is doing research and presentation of autism in females. And I was like, I found the person that I want to go through this evaluation with. I think they have the experience, and I think they're going to like give me a diagnosis based on their own experience and everything. And I went through it. I went through all the stressful tests and stressful questions they asked me. And I came out of it with, yes, Kinsey, you are on the spectrum. Most definitely. Yes. So I did check off all the boxes. And I was self-diagnosed for a time. Now, how much did I pay for that diagnosis? $2,000 is how much I paid for that diagnosis. And not everybody has that money. So there's a bunch of reasons that somebody could be self-diagnosed and haven't got a diagnosis yet. So First one could be financially they're not able to do it. Their insurance won't cover it. They don't have the means to do it out of pocket. Another one could be waitlist times. I had to wait quite a few months, only months though. I was very lucky. Some people have to wait years for their diagnosis on a wait list. Again, I was lucky. I didn't have to wait years. I had to wait months. Then there could be other extenuating circumstances. The person's parents could not want them to get the diagnosis, and barring until they turn 18, that's a possibility. Number two could be, I live in America in California. All right, next. I live in an area that there's no like huge stigma about autism in general that could be like literally damaging to my personhood and everything. Some people live in countries where it is damaging to get that label to their person and the way people treat them and that type of thing. Apparently, I've heard people from other countries say this, America actually has a pretty good rep for treating our disabled people quite nicely. I'm actually proud to be known for that as an American. Anyway, so there is a whole bunch of extenuating circumstances to the fact that somebody is self-diagnosed rather than actually diagnosed. And I can appreciate those circumstances and how difficult it is to get past them, or you can't really leave them at this point in time. So many people who are self-diagnosed eventually pursue a diagnosis. I don't think people that generally disapprove of this and everything, of those people that like self-diagnose as autistic, bring up like two major points. One, that they haven't done enough research on autism. And you know what? I can't gauge how much somebody else's research on autism. I did quite an in-depth amount of research before I was like, yes, I'm pretty freaking sure. And I checked all the boxes, as I said. And number two, they usually bring up is that it invalidates the actual process of going through and getting diagnosed with autism. It makes it less by them self-diagnosing. I don't know if I agree with that one. I think your piece of paper still, like my piece of paper says I'm still autistic. I think that I'm not going to judge somebody for being self-diagnosed because I understand the difficulty of the circumstances of them not being diagnosed. And I don't think like me saying I'm autistic is more valid than them saying they're autistic. I'm going to do me and let them do them. But how do you guys feel about self-diagnosis? What's your opinion on it? Why do you feel that way? I want to hear about it. Thank you for joining me on Autistic Musings today. And if you liked this topic and you'd like to hear more, please post in the comments section. I welcome the feedback. And if you'd like to see more of my content, please subscribe, like, and share.